Have you ever achieved something you worked really hard for, only to feel a bit empty afterward? Maybe it was a big promotion, buying your dream house, or finishing a tough project. You expected to feel on top of the world, but instead, there was this nagging sense of, is that it? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Today I want to explore why, even after reaching major milestones, so many of us still feel unsatisfied. We'll take a look at the psychological, emotional, and social factors behind this puzzling experience and talk about how we can actually start to feel fulfilled. The hedonic treadmill, why happiness doesn't last. Have you ever noticed how the thrill of achieving something big, whether it's landing a promotion, buying a new car, or finally completing a long-term goal, seems to fade faster than you expected? That fleeting high can be explained by something called the hedonic treadmill. This concept suggests that while our happiness levels temporarily rise or fall in response to significant events, they eventually return to a baseline. In other words, no matter how big the accomplishment, life tends to settle back into a state of normalcy. Think about the last time you got something you really wanted. Maybe it was finishing school, starting a new job, or reaching a fitness milestone. At first, the joy was exhilarating. You felt unstoppable. But then, as the days or weeks passed, that initial excitement began to wear off. It's as though your brain adjusted to the new situation and asked, what's next? This tendency is built into our biology. The human brain is wired for adaptation, which is essential for navigating life's challenges and changes. While this ability to reset helps us recover from setbacks, it also makes long-term satisfaction elusive. Achievements that once seemed like they would make us permanently happy often lose their shine, leaving us searching for the next milestone to chase. So, how do we step off this treadmill? The key lies in shifting our perspective. Instead of focusing solely on the next big goal, we need to learn how to savor the journey and celebrate the smaller victories along the way. It's about taking moments to pause, reflect, and say, this is enough for now. Mindfulness practices like gratitude journaling can be powerful tools in this process. By regularly reflecting on what we're thankful for, even small accomplishments or moments of peace, we anchor ourselves to a deeper sense of contentment. These practices remind us that true happiness isn't just found in the peaks of success, but in the quieter, everyday moments that make up the path to getting there. The what next trap. Constantly shifting goals. The habit of constantly shifting our goals can feel like an endless climb up a series of mountains. You set your sights on the summit, pour your energy into reaching it, and once you're there, instead of taking in the view, you immediately scan the horizon for the next peak to conquer. Without ever stopping to appreciate the progress you've made, you're already setting your sights on the next challenge. This relentless forward motion can create a cycle where no matter what you achieve, it never feels like it's enough. Life starts to feel more like a conveyor belt of goals rather than a journey filled with meaningful experiences. But why do we do this? In part, it's because setting and achieving goals is inherently good. Goals give us purpose, direction, and a sense of accomplishment. However, when we don't pause to celebrate our successes, we risk falling into a trap of perpetual striving. External pressures often fuel this cycle: societal expectations, peer competition, and the fast-paced, achievement-focused culture we live in. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind if you take a moment to rest, especially when everyone around you seems to be announcing their latest accomplishments or planning their next big move. This creates a constant pressure to keep pushing forward, leaving little room to reflect on how far you've already come. The downside of this mindset is profound. When we're always focused on what's next, we lose sight of the satisfaction that comes from acknowledging what we've already achieved. Even after ticking off a major life milestone, graduating, landing a dream job, starting a family, there's often a nagging feeling of what else should I be doing? Without time to pause and celebrate, the sense of accomplishment we're seeking remains elusive. Instead, life risks become a series of checkboxes, each task completed but quickly overshadowed by the next. Breaking this cycle requires conscious effort. The first step is learning to pause and reflect on your achievements. It could be as simple as writing down what you're proud of, sharing your success with someone you trust, or taking a quiet moment to sit with your feelings and let yourself truly appreciate the work you've done. You might also consider setting milestones within your larger goals and treating each milestone as a victory worth celebrating on its own. These small moments of recognition can transform how you experience success, turning it from a fleeting checkpoint into a source of lasting pride and satisfaction. By giving yourself permission to rest and reflect, you can break free from the "what's next" trap and start finding joy in the journey. The trap of external validation and the path to internal fulfillment. One of the reasons we often feel empty after achieving something significant is that our motivation may have been misplaced. Instead of pursuing a goal because it's resonated with our personal values or passions, we may have been chasing external validation, the applause, recognition, or approval from others. While it's natural to want acknowledgement for our efforts, the problem arises when external validation becomes the primary reason for our pursuits. Achievements rooted in the need for approval can feel hollow once the applause fades, leaving us wondering why our accomplishment doesn't feel as satisfying as we imagined. This tendency to seek external validation often begins early in life. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to equate success with the external rewards. In school, good grades and achievements were celebrated, while mistakes were met with criticism. Over time, we internalize this pattern, carrying it into adulthood where promotions, salaries, titles, and accolades become the new gold stars. However, when external validation becomes the driving force behind our goals, it can leave us feeling unfulfilled, especially when the recognition doesn't come, or when it does but quickly fades. It's like building a house on sand. The foundation feels solid at first, but lacks the depth and stability needed for lasting satisfaction. True fulfillment, however, comes from within. It's about aligning your actions with what truly matters to you, not what impresses others. Asking yourself, am I doing this because it's meaningful to me or because I want someone else to notice, can be a powerful way to recalibrate your motivations. When your goals are rooted in personal passion and values, the satisfaction of achieving them becomes deeper and longer lasting. You no longer rely on external applause to feel accomplished because the process itself is rewarding. Making this shift requires intentionality, but doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Surrounding yourself with people who genuinely support and understand your values can amplify your sense of internal fulfillment. These relationships offer encouragement and validation that isn't based on competition or external metrics, but shared on understanding and growth. When you focus on what lights you up inside, build a support around network that aligns with those passions. You free yourself from the trap of external validation and open the door to a more meaningful and satisfying experience of success. Comparison, social pressure, and how to break free. Let's be honest. Most of us have found ourselves comparing ourselves to others at some point. It's hard not to when our phones and social media feeds are filled with highlight reels showcasing other people's best moments. But here's the thing. Comparison is the thief of joy. It has a sneaky way of turning your accomplishments into not enough the moment you see someone else's seemingly bigger win. You might feel proud of landing a new job, for example, but then you scroll through Instagram and see someone who just started a business, bought a house, and it seems to have it all figured out. Suddenly, your achievement feels smaller, not because it's any less significant, but because you've measured it against someone else's success. This tendency to compare is natural. It's how we gauge progress and understand where we stand. However, when we compare ourselves to people who seem more accomplished, it makes us feel like we're falling short. Social media amplifies this effect by exposing us to carefully curated versions of other lives. Let's face it, most people post their best moments, not their struggles. What you see is just the tip of the iceberg, not the sacrifices, failures, or challenges that went into their success. Comparing your full unfiltered reality to their polished highlight reel creates an unfair standard that's impossible to match. The hidden cost of this comparison goes beyond feeling bad. It can drain your motivation and clarity. When you're fixated on someone else's path, it becomes harder to appreciate your own progress and trust that you're heading in the right direction. Comparison pulls your attention away from your values, tempting you to chase goals that may not align with what truly matters to you. Breaking free from the comparison trap starts with a shift in perspective. Remember, what you see online isn't the whole story. Everyone has their struggles, even if they don't share them. But more importantly, your journey is uniquely yours. It doesn't need to mirror anyone else's to be meaningful. Focus on celebrating your achievements for what they are, without holding them up against someone else's timeline or milestones. One effective way to combat comparison is by practicing gratitude. When you take the time to focus on what you have rather than what others have, it changes your perspective. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, helping you appreciate your progress and experiences. Try writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day, whether they're related to your accomplishments or simple moments of joy. This small, consistent habit can make a big difference, anchoring you in your journey and making it easier to see the value in your life. Instead of chasing someone else's version of success, gratitude helps you redefine fulfillment on your own terms. Being present, the power of now. One of the most overlooked reasons we struggle to find fulfillment is our inability to truly be present. When we're constantly focused on what's next or caught up in what could have been, we miss out on the richness of what's happening right now. This future-focused mindset often robs us of the joy that comes with our accomplishments. Instead of fully savouring a moment when we reach a goal, we're already planning the next step, worrying about the future challenges, or rushing to check off the next task on our never-ending to-do list. The result? The satisfaction we hoped for slips through our fingers, leaving us feeling like our hard work didn't pay off as much as it should have. Mindfulness offers a powerful antidote to those constant forward-moving momentums. At its core, mindfulness is about being fully present and engaged in the moment without judgment. It's about experiencing your achievements as they happen, instead of viewing them as a fleeting milestone to quickly move past. When you cultivate mindfulness, even small victories take on more significance. You start to notice and appreciate them, transforming what might feel like ordinary moments into sources of real satisfaction. This shift helps counteract that persistent question of what's next and allows you to celebrate your journey as it unfolds. Building a habit of presence doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can start with small, intentional practices. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on what went well and let yourself feel proud of those accomplishments. It could be as simple as taking a deep breath and saying, "I did that, and it feels good." Engaging in activities that naturally draw you into the present, such as cooking, drawing, or listening to music, can also help anchor you in the moment. These practices often offer a pause from the relentless push forward, providing space to truly enjoy where you are. Equally important is learning to celebrate your achievements without immediately rushing to the next goal. This does take practice and deliberate effort. Allow yourself time to reflect after reaching a milestone, whether that means taking a day off, hosting a small celebration, or simply sitting quietly to acknowledge your efforts. Giving yourself permission to pause and appreciate your success isn't indulgent, it's necessary. These moments of reflection not only deepen your sense of accomplishment, but also remind you that life isn't just about the next challenge. It's about fully experiencing and celebrating the progress you've made. By embracing the power of now, you can turn fleeting satisfaction into a lasting sense of fulfillment. Finding purpose and meaning. Without a deeper sense of purpose, even our most significant achievements can feel hollow. When the goals we chase don't align with our values or passions, it's no wonder why they leave us feeling unfulfilled. Purpose is the glue that ties our actions to something greater, giving our efforts and successes a deeper resonance. For instance, consider someone who pursues a career purely for financial gain, despite it not aligning with their passions or values. Even if they achieve conventional success, they may still feel a lingering dissatisfaction. On the other hand, when someone dedicates themselves to work they care deeply about, whether it's teaching, creating, or helping others, the process itself can be just as rewarding as the outcome. If you're feeling unfulfilled, it's worth pausing to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Are your goals driven by genuine passion, Or are they shaped by external expectations and a sense of obligation? Realigning your efforts to match what truly matters to you can transform how you experience success. Purpose-driven goals, no matter how small, tend to bring lasting satisfaction because they reflect who you are and what you value. Adding meaning to your achievements often involves contributing to something beyond yourself. This might mean mentoring, volunteering, or supporting a cause that resonates with your beliefs. These acts of service remind us that our actions have a ripple effect, touching the lives of others and adding a profound sense of significance to what we do. When our efforts help build something larger than ourselves, the fulfillment we experience often goes far deeper than personal accolades. Living a purpose-driven life doesn't require sweeping changes overnight. It can start with small steps like carving out time for a hobby that brings you joy, or connecting with people who share your values and passions. These actions shift your focus from simply checking off your goals to creating a life that feels meaningful and satisfying. Over time, these moments of purpose add up, turning even everyday accomplishments into sources of pride and contentment. By anchoring our actions in purpose, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute something greater, creating a legacy of meaning and fulfillment. So why don't we always feel satisfied, even after achieving great things? It's a complicated mix of the hedonic treadmill, constantly shifting goals, external validation, social comparison, lack of present moment awareness, emotional challenges, searching for purpose, and dealing with burnout. But here's the good news. Understanding these factors is the first step toward changing how we approach life and success. If we can learn to appreciate the journey, align our goals with our values, seek internal fulfillment, and take care of our own mental health, we can shift from chasing fleeting moments of happiness to building a life that's truly fulfilling. And isn't it what we're really after? A life where we can look at what we've done, take a deep breath, and say, "This is enough. I am enough." The path to lasting satisfaction isn't about perfection. It's about connection to ourselves, to our values, and to the present moment. And when we embrace that, every achievement, big or small, becomes a celebration, not just a check mark.